So I want to talk about this thing that's been trending hardcore today, which is hashtag stop DMCA. I may use that hashtag in the title of this video. I haven't decided yet. And this was a really big deal. This is a really big deal. It was a top trending thing on Twitter. I know like Twitter's not always like the best gauge on how to look at things, but it's still a lot of people are still talking about this. This was kicked off, to my knowledge, by Moist Critical, who's also goes by Penguin Zero or something like that on YouTube. And really, what this started from is that there's a piece of legislation being presented by Senator Tillis that is written just confusingly enough that somebody who could be in a live stream and streaming music or whatever, or anybody who is threatened with a DMCA strike could possibly face jail time. So this has been not written at, but this has been talked about ad nauseum by so many people on Twitter, so many YouTubers. I think some ordinary gamers just made a video on it, and I want to talk about the artist side of this because DMCA rules get really, really weird on YouTube. And so, what the DMCA is supposed to do is that's supposed to protect artists from their work being stolen. For layman's terms, that's what it is. Unfortunately, the way it usually ends up is that a lot of artists don't usually benefit from this, especially now. So, the DMCA, I think, was concocted in what the year 2000 or something like that. And nowadays, like, most people aren't streaming illegally. They're not like trying to find music illegally because a lot of music is just available for free, whether it be YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, etc., etc., etc. So on the artist side, I'm an independent artist. I don't have that many releases right now. All of my studio recorded songs that are under my name are on a playlist on my channel that is directed to another YouTube channel that was created by my distributor. And you can check out that playlist on my profile. I may include a link somewhere. Sorry for the self-promotion. But so on my end, as an independent artist, with my distributor, I have the option to go with YouTube ID to where it can try to detect anything that sounds like my music and take it down or whatever, or try to gain royalties from it. And I actually don't have that listed just because I've seen like how much of a headache this can be. There's been a lot of creators from the music side of the internet who have actually played their own songs in videos or what have you, and it gets hit with the DMCA strike because certain music companies say they own the rights to chords and chord progressions. And that is a very big issue that's not being talked about as much when it comes to this because, I mean, obviously, like, when you're an artist, a lot of the way the copyright law works is that, I mean, in addition to going through the correct offices to, get your works copyrighted and whatever, as long as, like, there's a tangible recorded method in which you can prove that you created the work that is under your name, your song is protected under copyright law. And this was from a common law class I took like 7 years ago or something. But a lot of artists are getting hit with this because, like I said, the YouTube algorithm, and there's actually a lot of people who are manually doing this. There's a lot of screenshots on Twitter, and obviously my videos I'm just recording on my iPhone and, with no editing. So sorry that I'm not doing as well of a job of citing this as I should be. But there's a lot of like companies that try to act like they can own chords and chord progressions, which is a really big deal because a lot of, there's only certain ways that chords can work. There's only certain ways that a chord progression makes sense, especially when you're using like general chords everybody plays, G, C, D, C, G, A minor, F. Those are so many songs that have songs like that. It's just 1 5 6 4 1 4 5. That's the entire entirety of basically every like pop hit, every rock hit, every blues hit, and um, that's just something I wanted to bring up, that there are instances where people were getting flagged with the threat of a DMCA by playing their own songs, and there's really no situation if you are an artist that you should be penalized legally and have the threat of possible jail time because you played a song with common chords. And I can't remember who is all in with this. I know that there's a list showing the political backers of Tillis that I think includes like UMG, the RIAA, Sony, dozen other more, and it's and I'll let everybody else like talk about their things, because obviously the main thing that people are worried about is streaming games, commentary. I know when I've watched like videos from either Become the Night or like Rick Beato, or even like older reviewers, that a lot of times it would make sense that if you're able to talk about a song, that you'd be able to play part of a song and explain in snippets, this is why this section works, this is why this section doesn't work. And uh, it's so aggressive in the online sphere for what constitutes these companies coming after certain creators, whether music related or whatever, because fair use, you're supposed to get up to, I think it's about 12 seconds you're allowed to use for fair use, but really anything gets thrown out the door with that just because of how aggressive these companies are. And that's really all I wanted to bring up with that. And just to actually bring up another point real quick, sorry I'm all scatterbrained on this, but there actually are instances where venues get shut down. And so there's actually some organizations that allegedly say that they're there to represent the artists. So I think one of them's BMI is one of the bigger ones. I forget all the names of these other ones. But if you're a bar or a coffee house or anywhere that's kind of expected to play live music, or even like over like your speakers or something like that, allegedly you're supposed to pay out these companies a certain amount of thousands of dollars a year in order for the rights to be able to play copyrighted music. There's actually been instances here, and I'm in Missouri, where so many places, even before the pandemic, were either closing or they just couldn't sustain themselves with people playing music because they were getting the threats of lawsuits from large music companies saying, we're worried that you may play copyrighted music, or we're worried that you may play your own copyrighted music because if you're an artist and you're at this venue and you're playing your songs, it's technically not protected or something. It's very, very confusing, and the music industry is just very wild when it comes to this sort of thing. But yeah, that could be a whole other thing for another video. But yeah, that's basically all I got on that.